Welcome back to Just Samantics. My name is Sam. Today we're talking about the 7 things that we did as kids, or at least that I did, that are kind of weird now to do as an adult. Number 1, chew on raw pasta. Now my parents did this whenever they make pasta, which was a super fast, super easy way to make food for 3 kids who were constantly hungry and growing. Inevitably the smells of cooking would waft into the living room, pull us away from our games and our books and our never homework, but other activities. We'd be pulled into the kitchen and mom and dad would be there like mixing the pasta, making the sauce, and we would want something to munch on. And if the veggies were something that we didn't like onions, we're kind of weird to eat raw, like potatoes, although I'll admit I do really like to eat potatoes raw. And it is kind of weird that in this story I have potatoes in my pasta. But anyways, if there was nothing really for us to kind of munch on, to give us and then send us on our way out of the kitchen, out of the way, my parents would give us a raw piece of pasta. And as a kid, of course, it's hard, it's crunchy, it's not cooked pasta, so it's different, it's cool. I actually tried this recently, which sparked the whole idea for this video. And I realized that you kind of just resent yourself whenever you take a bite. I was thinking about the fillings that I was possibly cracking, how it would only take me 5 minutes to actually cook the pasta, how I literally had every tool available to me to not consume it this way. Which is kind of unfortunate. I lost that sort of childhood innocence, but at the same time, I'm really glad I can make my own pasta. Number 2, making a huge mess without people questioning your sanity. Now, I did this a lot. I'm a very creative person. I love to draw, I love to paint, and as a kid, I was especially susceptible to this. There was one time in particular where I was painting, and I got the paint all over the page, and then the floor, and then it slowly tracked its way up my legs, and onto my body, and onto my arms, and eventually my hair and my face. So my mom just let me, because she knew that it was all washable, and she just threw me in the bath, and I was on my way afterwards, running around, probably, if I'm being honest, butt naked around the house, like we all did, I'm sure. Please tell me we all ran around the house naked as kids. And then as an adult, if my friends walked in on me, painting myself, they might think that I'd gotten into some really weird cult, because there's no real reason why I would ever paint my entire body. Now, on the other side of it, there are actually bars where you can paint your body, but that's the only real socially acceptable place to do it, is when the neon lights and the drumming and the painting. Number 3 kind of goes hand in hand with number 2, jumping in puddles. As a kid, loved jumping in puddles, loved doing everything water related. I had rain boots, sometimes didn't have rain boots. I had my rain jacket, most of the time I was not wearing a jacket because I was running around and I was hot. I wasn't gonna wear a jacket, damn it. I would jump into puddles, make a big splash, mess. My parents would usually have a change of clothes on hand, or at least a warm towel for me to cuddle up in. But now as an adult, it's a whole ordeal to actually go out and enjoy the rain like a child. You have to put your raincoat on that you bought special, that you really wear twice a year. You have to make sure that your phone is up high so that it doesn't get wet, and it's just a lot of preparation, which is kind of sucks the fun out of it, honestly. Kind of lost that sort of wonder of, oh my god, a puddle, I have to jump in it right now. That's immediacy is everything to a child, is immediate now. I don't think about the future, don't think about the past. Now that's when I want to do it. This is what I'm doing right now. Number 4, one that was super inspired to me by one of my favorite films as a kid, Mary Poppin. Flying a kite. Classic childhood activity that I'm sure a lot of you did if you... Sorry, there was a weird door and my roommates aren't supposed to be home yet, so I was kind of spooked out. Okay. Flying a kite. I grew up near a couple of parks that had wide open fields, and we used to take our dog up, and my brothers and I would go up there and fly a kite every so often, run around, try and get it to fly. The downside of kites, of course, you need the perfect day with the perfect wind, but not too windy. But now as an adult, I don't think I've gone kite flying since my youngest brother was very little. It's really an activity you do with a kid. I don't see too many kite flyers alone, at least not the level that you did as a kid. As a kid, you had the SpongeBob kite or the Dora kite or something. But you either don't do it as an adult or you do it super professionally, and you have those cube kites that I don't even know how they stay up. The kite runner type kites where they attack other kites, or they're huge, or you're just parasailing. So that's sort of something that's a little bit, I don't know if I saw a grown person standing in the middle of the field flying a kite. I mean, I'd probably look at them and be really jealous because I too wish that I was doing that, but it's not something that we see too often. Number 5 is kind of a reverse one, because this is one that we adults can do that kids can't really do yet. I grew up with a dad who was a disc jockey, and I learned about, classic musicians, especially the Beatles. I really came to love the Beatles, and one of their albums in particular, the art for it is Abbey Road. And of course, we all know that classic album, the 4 of them crossing the crosswalk, and that is just something that I realized that you can't really do as a kid, because whenever you cross the road, you have to be holding your parent's hand. So it'd be kind of weird for the Beatles to be crossing Abbey Road holding their mother or father or whoever, their guardian's hands, and it would just sort of take away the impact, I think, of that image. Number 6, refusing to let your face be wiped. Now, as a child, oftentimes this is because you're independent, you can wipe it yourself, angrily push the hand away and you just rub it off. I didn't even care. I was like, I got it, and I just went on with whatever I was eating. But as an adult, it's kind of like an embarrassing thing. I have a friend, a couple friends actually, who are the moms of our groups, and they will often, if they see something on your face, whatever, they'll just do that mom thing where they just, honey, let me wipe it off your face, which is super sweet because no one likes to walk around with food on their face. But at the same time, nobody wants their friend's saliva on their face. I relate to the children in this. I'm like, I'm independent. I can take care of my own face. Oftentimes I will go to bed and look at myself in the mirror right before I do and see that I had chocolate on my face all day. It doesn't matter. It was my lip liner, and that's how you can pass it off as an adult. And the last one is number 7, and this one is really, really caring who gets to go first. Now, I'm not saying this changes as an adult, but I'm saying that you definitely get less vocal about it. As a child, a lot of kids will cut in front of other kids because they're learning, society rules and like lines and how that works. And the kid who just got cut in front of will go, hey, that was my spot, or hey, you shouldn't do that, or that was supposed to be mine, or I'm first in line. And when I was growing up, I did this as well. I was definitely guilty of throwing a few tantrums whenever my brothers got something that I didn't get. And now as an adult, I experienced this a lot. Cafes, in transit, roller coasters, which you'd think would be more of a kid thing, but we pay so much for roller coasters and we wait in line so long for a ride that's like 30 seconds. If someone gets in front of me, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be upset about it. In those instances, I have on occasion given the old and then I look to where they came from, and then I look at them again. Sometimes I have gone, hey, and that's about the extent of how much I put into that. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching Just Semantics. I have been Sam. Now, before we go, let me know in the comments below, is there anything that you did as a child that you don't do now as an adult because you're grown up and society says you can't do it? I appreciate you liking and subscribing. Check out my other videos on my channel. I do Let's Plays. I also do more vlogs that are about awesome, helpful topics and lists just like this one. If you're interested in films like I am, be sure to check out the movie podcast I do with my friend Max Darrett at his YouTube channel. I will link to that as well. Thank you once again for joining me, and I hope you have a great night.